Today on the newscast, a deadly terror attack in Israel's Samaria region, plus the U.S. Navy seizes a massive Iranian explosive shipment. Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast and welcome to Dallas. I am still here. I'll be here all week hosting TBN's Centerpoint program. It's a hard-hitting news program which you can see every night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on TBN, so I strongly encourage you to check it out. We've got some breaking news for you. I'm sad to report yet another terror attack in Israel's biblical heartland of Samaria today near Ariel, which is an incredible city I've spent time in. Ariel University is there as well. In Samaria, a Palestinian terrorist killed 3 men, 3 Israelis, 3 fathers. We've got all those breaking details for you, more in a minute. Before I dig into it, one region of Israel that's also been targeted by terror is the Negev Desert region, which has been targeted repeatedly by Hamas rockets. Now you can help those communities in the Negev through our good friends at Artza. This month's Artza box subscription features Israeli-made products straight from the Negev. Now, we've been partnering with Artza for a while here on the newscast because we really believe in what they're doing. Each Artza box features amazing products from a different city or region in Israel, all made in Israel by Israeli small businesses. And I love this. Proceeds from every Negev box go to support a great Israeli organization in the Negev called Adi. The residents of Adi are children, adolescents, and adults with severe disabilities. And folks, they created one of the products in this month's Negev box, a beautiful handcrafted plate straight from the Holy Land. Hey, the holidays are right around the corner, and this is a great gift for anyone in your life who loves God's land and wants to fulfill that biblical mandate to bless Israel. Just go to artzabox.com and use the discount code WATCHMAN20 to get 20% off your Artza box subscription. It's a good deal and a great cause, and we hope you enjoy it. And hey, Israel could use the support right now as it is in the midst of this terror wave. That's the only way to describe it. That's been striking Judea and Samaria. Now, the world calls that region the West Bank, but here on the Watchman, we call it Judea and Samaria because that's what the Bible calls it. It's real simple. This 18-year-old Palestinian terrorist carrying out this attack today, a rampage, folks, not only stabbing but car ramming as well. Again, killed 3 Israelis near Ariel, started out by stabbing a security guard at the entrance to an industrial park. An industrial park, by the way, where it's very likely that Palestinians are employed by Israeli businesses. We see that at industrial parks throughout the Samaria region. Stabbed the security guard, went on a car ramming spree as well, got out and stabbed more people. And again, we have 3 people murdered in cold blood, 3 Israelis murdered because they are Jews. Now, the terrorist was then killed, eventually killed by Israeli police and armed civilians, but the damage clearly is done. I mentioned a terror wave. We've seen this repeatedly over the past few months in Samaria, and we've got a new terror group of young Palestinians that calls itself the Lion's Den, which has been stirring up a lot of trouble in places like Jenin and Nablus. We've talked about them on previous newscasts, but what we have right now is a very tense situation in the biblical heartland, no doubt. And one last nugget to mention here, an important nugget. The Palestinian Authority of Mahmoud Abbas, remember folks, he is painted as Israel's partner for peace. Every time a terror attack is carried out that kills Israelis, even some Americans have been killed in these terror attacks, American citizens, the Palestinian Authority of Mahmoud Abbas rewards the terrorists by paying them lifetime stipends. The terrorist many times, like we saw today, is killed in the aftermath of the attack, but their families receive a lifetime stipend as a reward for their acts of terror. The Palestinian Authority calls it so-called martyr payments. So these so-called martyrs, their families, are rewarded for a lifetime for the act of killing innocent people in cold blood. That is the entity and the so-called leader, Mahmoud Abbas, who the West and the United States under the current administration refer to as Israel's partner for peace. a sad thought. Hey, moving on. Speaking of the U.S., some positive news. A massive Iranian explosives shipment was intercepted by a combined force of the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard in the Gulf of Oman earlier this month. Now, details about this are just coming out. It was actually over the weekend. Details just emerging. Some 180 tons of explosives shipped from Iran on this unflagged ship that was operated by a Yemeni crew. Ammonium fertilizer was among the explosives material on it. Intercepted, thankfully, on its way to Yemen, no doubt, into the hands of Iran's proxy there, the Houthis. Now, one U.S. Navy official said there was enough explosive material aboard this ship to be used in 12 medium-range ballistic missiles. That's a lot of material, folks, and it could have done a lot of damage, and we've seen the bitter fruits of that Iranian support for those Houthi rebels in Yemen. Over the past few years, they have bombarded, first and foremost, Saudi Arabia with this hybrid blend of attack drones supplied by Iran and ballistic missiles supplied by Iran. That's been very prevalent. And those missiles have even reached as far as the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi. And to top it off, the Houthis have also threatened to attack Israel on multiple occasions. So we see again another example here of how the Iranian regime is really the head of the snake. The weapons, the money, the funding, it's flowing from Iran into the hands of the likes of the Houthis in Yemen, Islamic Jihad and Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, those Shia militias in Iraq and Syria. All the chaos and the madness in the Middle East right now is emanating from the Iranian regime, or at least a good chunk of it, as they continue to fund and support and prop up their terror proxies, as they surround Israel with a ring of fire on all sides, and surround Saudi Arabia as well, or at least they are attempting to surround those Sunni Arab nations, those Abraham Accord nations that have aligned themselves with Israel. So once again, now this was the United States that intercepted this explosive shipment. Yet once again, will the Biden administration eventually come back to the negotiating table, as we've warned about here in the newscast, and try to broker a brand new nuclear deal with Iran? The deal looks dead right now, but we've seen many times in the past the Iranian nuclear deal looked dead, then it was revived on really the insistence of appeasement-minded Western leaders, and I fear we could see it once again in the not-too-distant future. But when that happens, remember how the U.S. seized this weapon shipment, this massive explosive shipment, I should say, and ask yourself, why would the United States, knowing that the Iranian regime is up to such nefarious activities in the Middle East and beyond, want to negotiate with a terrorist regime? That's a great question, and I'll leave you with that. I believe tomorrow from Dallas, we are going to do a live stream between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, so join us right here on the newscast live and bring your questions for our Q&A session. Until then, hey, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Watchman Newscast. God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.